Maybe it's because Meghan was an actress for a brief period of time. Who knows? But it's clear Meghan really does believe her own lies. She buys her own nonsense. She thinks that she can fake anything. She must really believe it, that no matter what experience or knowledge she lacks, that she can just pretend her way through anything and everything, and that people will buy it. People will believe her. She thinks that she can trick everyone into thinking that she knows what she's talking about, or that she knows what she's doing, or that she knows better than everyone else. But she can't. You can't. I can't. None of us really can fake it to that extent. Because generally speaking, people can tell when you are lying or faking something or don't actually know what you're doing or talking about. People tend to be able to see through that. Even subconsciously, we pick up on cues, little subtle things. And presumably, oftentimes in spaces like what Meghan is trying to do this year, you're talking to an audience that probably does know what they're doing to some extent. And when you try to fake it and you try to lie, it doesn't work. You can't get away with it. Maybe you can get away with it with Harry, but not with most people. Even really, really good actors, when you see somebody in real life in front of your face trying to pretend and pulling out an act, most of the time it's obvious. Sometimes it's just those little cues that make you think something's kind of off, but usually it's immediately apparent, as is the case with Meghan. And it's the exact problem with her show with Love Meghan and all the associated projects. And it will inevitably be her doom as well. As dramatic as that sounds, it's probably true, in large part because of the genre that she chose. I've talked about this before. Lifestyle content, cooking, these types of shows and just formats and within this genre, whether you're doing it on YouTube or in a magazine, you're, writing reviews of stuff, or you're making a cookbook, or you're doing it on a network TV like Food Network or something like that. It doesn't matter what medium, really. Within the space of lifestyle cooking types of content, I would argue within that genre, actual knowledge and authenticity is more important than some other genres. Having the experience and the talent and the skill and the taste and all of that, plus being able to show up in a genuine way where you're likable and engaging and stuff like that, is so essential to this particular genre. It's incredibly specific to this genre, just how important those things are, for obvious reasons. But one of the reasons why that's so important is because of the people who kind of made that genre a big deal. And people like me grew up with these names of people who everybody listened to, and basically it feels like brought into their homes to try the recipes and develop techniques that then are part of our childhood in a way, because or just our lives, because our home cooked meals were in part influenced by these people, or even just the way the house is decorated, things like that. It's our home and our meals and our cooking. It's like if you do cook, it takes up a big part of your life in a lot of ways, because you have to do it every single day. And so the people who enter into that genre and become successful are likable, knowledgeable, and earn trust with their viewers and become, in some ways, a part of the narrative, if you will, and influence a lot in terms of your home life. And so that thread of the importance of the hosts themselves is so much more impactful within the genre of lifestyle and cooking than it is in some other genres. And this genre was made popular by the likes of Ina Garten, one of my favorites, Martha Stewart, Julia Child, Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, and more. These people have all the required ingredients to make them successful in this genre. A blend of culinary expertise, engaging personality, and effective communication skills. And we have seen that Meghan has none of these things. She has very little to none when it comes to culinary expertise. She's hardly cooked anything on With Love Meghan. Her products are reviewed as unexceptional or not tasty, and watching her attempts at cooking was cringeworthy. She couldn't even choose the right knife for the job, let alone mince garlic, and spent more time arranging than cooking. Her lack of effective communication skills led to a confusing atmosphere for both the viewer and her guests, who often looked like befuddled lost puppies following her around. And Meg's personality is decidedly not engaging. She's rather dull. She's quite boring, unfunny, and peculiar in a bad way. So no wonder With Love Meghan flopped. But in a plot twist no one asked for, Meghan has spent all year long trying to brand herself as authentic. Every opportunity she has had, she has mentioned how important authenticity is to her, how authentic she is, and how happy her friends are to see her being her, just existing. It's insane. Check out this video covering the plethora of problems with Meghan trying to label herself as authentic and why no one is going along with it. But setting that aside, it's not just royal watchers or people who have kept up with the Sussex saga and have preconceived notions about Meghan who have noticed Meghan's lack of authenticity. It's not just us. No. It's loose followers too, and none other than Martha Stewart herself has weighed in on this matter. Take a listen to what she said.
Watch other celebrities, Gwyneth Paltrow, Meghan Markle, going in your footsteps and following something that you've really started?
I don't mind. Good luck. And Gwyneth's been very successful, by the way. I think she's created quite an interesting body of businesses. She's admired. She's a fantastic. She won an Oscar, for heaven's sake, as an actress. She's pretty powerful. Meghan, I don't really know very well, and I hope she knows what she's talking about. Authenticity to me is everything, and to be authentic and knowledgeable about your subject matter is extremely important.
In general, Martha Stewart is viewed as fairly authentic, especially within the field that she works in. People do think that she is successful and offers relatively good advice when it comes to cooking and recipes and home decor and things like that. She has a good reputation there, and in general, her name, her public reputation is fairly well received. Not everybody's like a huge fan, but I think in general people view her as a relatively authentic celebrity. While she built her brand on an aspirational image of perfect domesticity, she is also seen as authentic in her dedication and expertise, spending a lot of time and having a reputation as working really hard to get things right. She has herself emphasized the importance of authenticity and knowledge within the lifestyle space, implicitly criticizing those she perceives as lacking it. Her career has involved adapting to new platforms like social media and even venturing into partnerships with unexpected figures like Snoop Dogg, yet she manages to retain her sense of core identity and dedication to her craft. She's still respected within the space. While known for perfectionism, her presence on social media, particularly her Finsta, our Instagram account, reveals a more unfiltered side, which some find a little bit more relatable and authentic, where she's embracing imperfection more often. She has also been open about undergoing cosmetic procedures, further contributing to a perception of honesty. And she tends to have a rather direct form of communication. She doesn't beat around the bush very often, which lends itself to a more trustworthy public figure sort of identity. But ultimately, perhaps most importantly, Martha earned her place and navigated turbulent seasons in her life and within her public image as successfully as you possibly could. And because she has bounced back and is still considered a prominent figure within the genre, it's clear that she has been successful. Personally, my favorites have always been Gordon Ramsay and Ina Garten, but that's just, personal taste. I think Martha has done a really good job and is very successful, and I think she's great. She's cool. I just like Ina and Gordon's recipes better. The point is, though, Martha touched on this in the clip, that you kind of have to earn respect within the industry, like a lot of industries, and the same goes for public profiles. She mentioned that Gwyneth had earned her place, but Meghan hasn't really, though. And pushing this authenticity narrative feels like manipulation. It feels like skipping over the hard work. Meghan is trying to take a shortcut to status within this genre to be able to avoid having to prove herself. And as we've discussed, there's so many reasons why Meghan isn't being received well, and more importantly, why she's not being viewed as authentic, which is going to inhibit growth and success in this genre and space. Perhaps most glaringly is that Meghan just isn't very likable. She has been voted most disliked public figure 3 times, I think. According to this source, she has disapproval ratings that are on par with P. Diddy and Donald Trump and Amber Heard. I mean, those are pretty aggressive polls. It's incredibly significant, especially in business development. For goodness sakes, there are huge stars and celebrities that have lost their entire businesses or brand deals as soon as their approval ratings plummet. Like, for example, Kanye West, he lost his huge Adidas deal because of his crazy tweets, and his rants and his bizarre behavior made him unpopular, and it completely ruined the deal, because if that celebrity is not likable, then they're not going to be able to deliver the value to the brand, and the brand can then get a reputation that they endorse or associate with this exact same behaviors that the celebrity is doing. And that explains why Meghan has no brand deals being offered to her. Same with Harry. No brand wants to be partnered up with or endorsing a celebrity or a public figure with a controversial status. What makes Meghan think that she can have a business of any kind without a positive public opinion? It maketh no sense. It's kind of a requirement. And not only that, she's inserting herself into 100% of the brand advertising and marketing. She's making, as ever, the brand about herself, just embodying herself, basically, rather than making it its own, which is another big mistake. As ever, has Meghan in every single picture. So anybody who has even just a loose idea of Meghan is more likely to have a negative view of her than a positive one, according to the data and the polls that we have. Therefore, the second someone stumbles upon As Ever and doesn't know who's in charge of it or whatever, and sees Meghan touching the honey or the baskets or whatever, they're gonna not buy it. And Meghan's business endeavors are suffering from more than just her unlikability alone. Quality has been called into question. Authenticity has been undermined since she's trying to package these products as if they're from her, but they're all generic factory items made far from California and grossly marked up. And as many people have said, she would have helped herself out a lot by making her brand or her products a not-for-profit situation. At least the regular pantry goods, like the wine may have had some issues regulation-wise in terms of making it a completely not-for-profit thing. Maybe, because there's different regulations on wine. The teas, the mixes, all of these things could have been viewed a lot less critically if she had it be a for charity situation rather than a for-profit situation. Making it to where all the profits go directly to her or split between her and Netflix, it really diminishes the opinion of the brand and Meghan and the products. If she would have made it a situation where it got donated to a charity of her choice, not Archwell, God forbid, that would have been a big mistake, not Archwell, but like directly to a charity, directly benefiting, children or whatever, that would have been received a lot better, and people would have viewed the products a lot less critically because they're like, well, she's trying to do this for a good cause. It would have totally changed the tone. But I think one of the biggest mistakes that she made was constantly talking about authenticity this year while she's trying to launch all of these things that don't feel authentic to her. Meghan kind of ended up drawing attention to her lack of authenticity by constantly talking about being authentic. Because she's not good at public image relations, she believed pushing an "I'm so authentic" narrative would manipulate people into believing her, like she did with Harry, I guess. But instead, it only made people focus on the lack of authenticity that she has. It highlighted the subject of authenticity against her brand, her show, and Meghan herself. And it encouraged people to view what she presented to the world through the lens of authenticity. And people found her hugely lacking in that department. But leave your thoughts on that and what Martha had to say in the comments section. I'm eager to read your thoughts. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next time. Have a happy day, everybody. Bye.